Hello friends, welcome to another video. It's Thursday, April 27th, and I can finally vlog because my week of school is over and it was a really long one, which is why I haven't put up a video in a little bit, so my apologies, but we're doing it today. You can probably tell from the title of this video, this has actually been very requested. I'm going to talk a little bit about all the different types of dieting and all that lingo that's thrown out there in the bodybuilding community and just kind of like explain what each of the terms mean. I know for a lot of you guys who have been into lifting and bodybuilding and competing and that kind of stuff for a long time, this will be common sense, so I totally understand that the audience of this video is small, but it has been requested by a lot of people and it's something that I've wanted to put out for a while. So this isn't gonna be a normal vlog, it's gonna be a sit down video, but we're gonna try to make it quick and to the point and somewhat entertaining. Okay, so the first thing, before we get into it, that I want to reiterate, I've said it before, but every individual has a set amount of calories that they can maintain on. And that depends on a variety of things, just like your height, weight, your just normal basal metabolic rate, your activity level. And even when all that stuff comes into play, it's still gonna be different from person to person. But also, this maintenance is not one number. It is a range, right? So if your maintenance is 2,000 calories, it's not like if you eat 2,100 calories, you're gonna gain weight, and if you eat 1,900, you're gonna lose weight. It's a range. So like this person could probably maintain on like 1,700 to 2,200 calories. And everyone's range is different. For example, I can maintain on a very wide range of calories. It takes a big drop in food for me to lose weight and a huge increase in food for me to gain weight. But that's just me. So I just wanted to cover that before we get into all these terms because these will only make sense if you understand that. So, getting into that, the first thing I want to talk about, I'm waving my pen at you, I have some, like what the different terms I want to talk about on here. We're going to start with maintaining. So like I said, this is a range of calories that you can maintain on. One thing that I get so many messages, emails, DMs, snaps, how can I lose muscle or gain muscle and lose fat? You can't. There are very, very, very few individuals who can do that, and it takes a really, really long time. To build muscle, you have to be in a caloric surplus. To lose weight, you have to be in a caloric deficit. Now, what this has to do with maintaining is the one time that you might be able to like get that like tone up, so build a little bit of muscle or have more muscle show and lose fat, is right when you start lifting. You can be eating in that maintenance range of calories and you'll just start to notice more muscle definition because your body hasn't been exercising in that way. And that usually only lasts the first few months you've been lifting, like I said. Besides that, you're gonna need to go into caloric surplus to put on muscle, which is the phase that I'm in right now, and that's what we're gonna talk about next. So, caloric surplus is usually bulking or lean bulking. Those are the two that it usually consists of. So, I have always been lean bulking. And what that is keeping your surplus a little bit smaller than if you were to do a dirty bulk. And you're monitoring it more closely. So I hit my macros every single day, and no, it's not like we only add 10 grams of fat, or 5 grams of fat, 10 grams of carbs, or something like that. You can still increase in large amounts, but you're keeping the amount of weight you're gaining smaller so that you can make sure it is mostly muscle and not excess fat. But the rate at which you're gaining weight is a little slower, and you can monitor that through progress pictures, that kind of thing. But you're adding food, so you are gaining muscle, you still will gain some fat, but the amount of fat you gain will be less, and the time it takes to bulk will be longer because you are keeping your surplus a little bit slighter and more closely monitored. Now, a normal bulk, some people call it a dirty bulk, is one, much faster, and two, you're gaining weight faster. So you will gain a little bit more fat. And some people might be like, that's totally unappealing. Like, why would you do that versus a lean bulk? And sometimes you just don't have that much time to bulk. So like competitors, for example, if they have a short off season, after your reverse diet, you might have to bulk really, really fast so that you can put on a lot of muscle. Yes, you'll add fat too, but you'll be able to add mass faster. So then you can go into a cut for a competition or whatever, and be ready faster versus doing like a lean bulk, which will be a lot slower. Bulk, like I've been bulking for basically a year with the exception of 5 weeks, because it's been pretty lean. And the whole thing with dirty bulk is that's usually when you're like not tracking your food whatsoever and you're eating pizza, donuts, whatever. That's the connotation that's put with the word dirty bulk. And sometimes people do that. Usually it's guys, I think, because one, they can eat a shit ton of calories and like nothing happens. And I feel like guys don't feel as awful as a lot of girls do when they eat like that. But I think a lot of people also do that if they are just mentally tired of dieting and tracking food, which is totally fine too. But if you hear that term dirty bulk out there, it's not bad. I feel like it has a horrible connotation, but it's just like you're not tracking your food, you're just kind of eating whatever, and you're doing that whole bulk thing where you're probably gaining weight a lot faster. So now we're going to go to the flip side, which would be cutting or being in a caloric deficit. Now, important disclaimer. So just like with bulking, how you can't only gain muscle, you're gonna gain some fat too. Being on a cut or in a caloric deficit, yes, you are going to lose fat, that is the point of it, but it is inevitable that you are going to lose some muscle mass. You can minimize it, but you will lose some muscle mass. So, first of all, there are two ways you can approach a caloric deficit. One, being in a deficit food-wise. Two, adding in cardio. You can do a combination of both. That is usually what I would recommend. But I think there are two ways of cutting that need to be very differentiated. So one would be a lifestyle cut. You want to lose some fat, get in shape for summer. Maybe you've been bulking and you want to see what's under there, whatever, a lifestyle cut. Would be a cut for a bikini competition, a figure competition, a men's physique competition, like a bodybuilding show. And cutting for a bodybuilding show, I guess we'll get into that first. The way you go about cutting for a lifestyle cut and a bodybuilding show are very similar. Both you have to do cardio, decrease food, whatever. But a cut for a competition is usually going to be a lot faster. Food is going to need to be lower, and you're just gonna have to push a lot harder because your body gets to a point where it is like, I don't want to lose more weight. It's not healthy for your body to lose more weight, but you have to push past that point, only for a very short amount of time, but you have to push that past that point. And you're also on a timeline, so you need to make adjustments that are a lot more drastic and most likely a lot more often. That's why a lot of people, when you're prepping, you have a coach because they can keep an eye on all that stuff. And it can just be very, very complex. So I'm not gonna get like too much into it, but that's what you need to know. It's just very, very drastic and it's not maintainable. A lifestyle cut, on the other hand, would be someone just looking to lose weight, like I said. And that, again, you need to be in a caloric deficit. You can go about that through cardio or diet or both. But it doesn't need to be as crazy. And what I would usually say is you would take your maintenance calories and you could start off by subtracting 200 and see how your body adapts. And your body will always adapt whether you're in a surplus or a deficit to the lower or higher macros. So in terms of cutting, your body's gonna get used to eating less food and it's gonna stop losing weight, and then you're gonna have to drop the calories a little more or add in some cardio. And what I would usually recommend is if you're doing a lifestyle cut, drop like 10 to 20 carbs at a time, like 3 to 7 fat, just depending on how your body is responding, and go from there. It's a much slower process. You can also add in cardio instead of dropping macros 1 week. but it is much slower and it's a lot healthier and easier to maintain muscle mass. That is the key part. The slower you cut, the more likely you are to hold on to muscle. So it's not about how much weight can I lose in 2 weeks. It's doing it gradually over a longer period of time that's gonna give you the best results, which is why I say subtract food slowly. I had my friend the other day say she decided she wanted to lose weight, so she subtracted 800 calories and started doing cardio twice a day, and she wasn't losing weight. And I was like, this is why, your body's freaking out. So just take away a little bit amount of food, add in a little cardio, and make adjustments slowly over time. This is the big one, and I feel like it's gonna take the most explanation because I hear these words thrown around so much, and it drives me freaking crazy. Reverse diet. Okay. A reverse diet. Looked up the definition. A reverse diet, listen closely, is a period after a calorically restricted eating protocol during which you slowly work to increase calories back to maintenance. Okay. So a reverse diet would be used if you're coming out of a cut or a prep. Or if you're someone who's been eating very restrictively for a very long time, but maybe, like there's a lot of people, I have friends who I'm like helping reverse diet who were eating super low amounts of food and are at a healthy or like a little bit above healthy weight, and their metabolism is just very suppressed. So a reverse diet is working to get you out of that metabolically suppressed state. So I've never done a reverse diet. You guys know when I did my mini cut, we increased like 100 grams of carbs and 20 grams of fat right away. And it's just been kind of fast because I'm trying to gain weight. My metabolism was never suppressed. But if you're coming out of a long cut or a prep, your metabolism is suppressed. So a reverse diet, you're slowly adding back in calories to avoid putting on excess body fat while getting your metabolism back to that maintenance range, and preferably the higher end of that maintenance range. Now you can do this. I would usually recommend people adding 10 to 15 grams of carbs, a couple grams of fat a week. Some people's bodies do really bad with carbs. Some people's bodies do better with fat. It's different for everyone. And you have to monitor things closely. So if you add in 10 grams of carbs and 5 grams of fat one week, and your weight stays the same, great, add more the following week. The next week, if your weight goes up, maybe keep it the same. And the same goes for cardio. You're gonna be decreasing your cardio slowly to get to that maintenance point where you should be doing very minimal cardio, unless you love doing cardio, and eating a good amount of food. And again, that will be different for everyone's body. Now, it stops being a reverse diet, and this is where I think people get messed up, when you're in a surplus. So once you are at that high end of your maintenance range, you can only get your metabolism up so far. Not everyone can be maintaining their weight eating 3,000 calories. Some people's reverse diet might stop at 2,000 because that's just their genetics and how their body works. Some people it might be 3,500. Some people it might be 1,800. Like, it's different for everyone, but that's when you would start going from your cut. You transition through your reverse diet, through your maintenance phase. Everything's healthy and happy. Your metabolism's happy. Your hormones are healthy. And then you start your bulk or lean bulk if that's what you want to do. But I also want to reiterate, there's nothing wrong with eating maintenance calories. I feel like there's this huge thing on social media and in the bodybuilding community where you either have to be like bulking or cutting all the time. And that's not true. If you're a competitor, yes, it may be true. But there's nothing wrong with maintaining either. Fitness should be fun, eating should be fun. It doesn't need to be this huge bulk, cut, reverse diet cycle. Just wanted to put that out there for all of you who don't compete or don't want to compete. You don't have to go through all these phases. But I hope that this was helpful. It's kind of hard to explain, like in words. I feel like you just kind of have to like intuitively know the process, but I hope it made sense. I hope it cleared up some things for some of you. these sit down videos are always really weird for me, but let me know if there's any more that you guys want. I had someone request like my favorite bulking foods, which I've done before, but I can do again. My supplements, like updated supplements. Let me know what you want to see because I can do more of these sit down videos. I just usually vlog as I go through my day. But I'm open to anything and everything, and I will be vlogging more throughout the weekend because I have time now. But as always, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment, share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.